Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a Maserati F Tributo. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to Kunani for getting me the footage on this Maserati. Check out our Instagram in the description down below. With all that being said, let's pop right into the video. So let's go over the F Tributo. First off, you guys will notice here with the front bumper, we've got all of the venting here, which looks really aggressive, similar to what you get on a regular Ghibli, and the parking sensors integrated into there with Maserati's signature front grille with the Trident logo there in the center. And don't worry, I've got some exterior shots of like the full cars. You guys will be able to see those a little bit later in the video. And then the Maserati logo there. And then you guys can see the beautiful blue paint. That is a part of the Tributo package, is the special blue paint. So you can either get blue or red as part of this package. The red is kind of the better option to go for. I know it sounds weird because we're looking at a blue car, but that one actually has the racing heritage behind it, whereas the blue they just kind of like threw in as also part of this package, which I think the blue looks better, but again, the red kind of goes with their racing heritage. And then you guys can see here to the side how you have the yellow accenting around the wheel, and then on the brake caliper that's also part of the package as well. And then you can see that the contrast between the yellow and the blue and then the wheels themselves I think looks really good overall. There's a ton of bright colors on this car. You guys will see with the interior and the exterior, and I love the high gloss finish there on the wheels as well. It really just pops out on the Ghibli. And then you guys can see the Maserati logo there for the center cap. Notice we have the F Tributo logo there in the center. Tributo, tribute, right? It's paying tribute to the racing heritage of the car. Got the three little vents there off to the side as well. Again, normal Ghibli thing right there. And then again, I just really want to mention the paint color here, especially in the different lighting. Looks really good. Mirrors are body painted to match, which is always a good thing. And then you guys can see here with the door handles also body painted to match as well. And it comes with keyless entry, which, I mean, especially considering the over six-figure starting price, it's something that you kind of expect on a car like this. And then you can, again, see the contrast there with the back wheel with the yellow and then the black and then the blue. I think all of it looks really good, ties in really nicely with the car. And then notice the Maserati logo here on the side is actually body painted. Sometimes they'll do that. Sometimes they'll like make it silver or make it black. And so I think it looks pretty interesting that they made that one body painted off to the side. And then notice here we've got the normal Ghibli taillights. You can see that with the side cluster right there. And all of the Maserati taillights look pretty much the same. So it's hard to differentiate the models if you don't know the brand. And then we have the quad exhaust tips here at the bottom. And speaking of exhaust systems, you can get the V6 or the V8 with this package. Most dealerships seem to be ordering it with the V6, but obviously the V8 is going to have a much throatier, more aggressive sound if you get that, but it's quite a bit more expensive, way more than the $101,000 starting price on the Ghibli. It jumps up the starting price up to like mid 100s or something like that. It's pretty crazy. And then notice we have another Maserati logo right there. Got your Ghibli logo here off to the side. And that's actually finished in chrome, which is interesting. I thought they might make that body colored since they made the Maserati logo on the side body colored. So I think that was pretty interesting that they did that. And then you guys can see kind of like the full partial back view. And like I said, I've got some shots here that you'll see in just a moment that are kind of the entire car. But overall, I think exterior-wise, the Ghibli is just a good-looking car, but especially in this blue paint, it really pops. And then, of course, we got to show you a little Ferrari there for a second. But here are the exterior shots quickly. So there's like your side view, and then here's a full view of the front. And then you guys can see closer with some of the accenting, like the wheels, for example, right there. And then the back with the exhaust tips. And there's a closer look right there. And again, all of it looks really good. Popping to the interior on this Ghibli, you guys can see, again, with the yellow accent, you've got the yellow Maserati logo and then all of the stitching. Now, part of the stitching is actually finished in black, so it's kind of interesting that they combine it. Now, this interior, I'm not going to pronounce this properly, is Piano Fiori. It's basically their nicest seats you can get. I have had a chance to sit in a couple of the 2022 Maseratis with these seats in it. One was a Quattroporte and the other was a Levante. And I can tell you the seats are very comfortable. Really high quality stuff. They look really good, especially in person. You guys can see here with these close-up shots of the seats, just the attention to detail with the stitching right there, and then especially the stitching pattern in the center of the seat itself. All of the crossing and everything, I I can't imagine doing that. It's pretty crazy stuff. And then you can see the center console here. All lined with felt. This is for the back passengers, by the way, so they get a little bit of extra storage with the cup holders, and this just pulls down with the armrest itself. And I love the metallic trim around the cup holders. I think that looks really good. Just kind of gives it a more high-class, upscale appearance when they do something like that. And then moving on from that to the back of the seats, I wanted to show this so you guys can see that still, you know, a practical car. You've got the netting on the back of the seat for a little bit of extra storage. You actually get some vents here for the rear passengers, and you guys will see the storage on the other side of the seat. The one thing I will mention is I didn't notice any climate controls or anything for the rear passengers, and again, for a car that's, you know, in excess of 6 figures, you expect a little bit more than what they're offering here, but I mean, if you want those kind of options, they do offer those in the Quattroporte. I do know that because I just reviewed one. Moving on from that, here's a quick look at the door panel. And this is something that I really like in this car. So notice how the metallic trim continues from the door handle all along, and then you've got the carbon fiber above that. Looks really good material-wise. And then you've got the stitching again that kind of pops down, and then notice how it goes across with the yellow stitching. So you've got the black on the top and then the yellow just down below. And then notice how they contrast again with the yellow with that piece of leather that dissects it with the black stitching again to kind of break things up so it's not just so bright and colorful and in your face. With all of the yellow that you have. And speakers for the sound system look pretty normal, right? They didn't do anything too crazy from a design standpoint with that. But yeah, that's the door panel. You guys can see again, it just looks really nice. And then here's the headliner. So again, obviously they're going to use premium materials as much as they can and in as many places as they can. And the headliner is no different. Definitely looks really nice. And again, it has that kind of sports car feel to it, because that's typically what you'll see now in higher performance vehicles is they'll use a headliner like this. And then the other thing to note, regular grab handles and all that, they didn't like cover them with leather or anything like that. And then here's some pictures of the rear so you guys can see everything in a little bit better clarity, because I did have to stretchy images for the video. And then notice with the Maserati plaque right here, that's in every single Ghibli, so that is not special to the package, but it still looks really nice if you ask me. And then again, the contrast between that and the blue paint I think is really cool. And you can see how the lighting, or how the paint rather, is catching the light. I think that looks really good off to the side there on the door seal. And then here's kind of like our first look at the front passenger area with the interior. And then you guys can see the seat's fully power adjustable, and you do have lumbar support with the seat as well that you can adjust. And it's 4 ways. You can move it up and down and then in and out. And then you can see here where they kind of, nice material use ends with the leather and everything. They don't have it over everything, but I mean, they've got it in quite a few places. But you guys can see, I mean, pretty much the whole door panel itself is all covered, except for the very, very bottom in leather, which is something that you know, expect in a car of this price point. And then it does come with the Harman Kardon sound system, which I have in my truck. It's a really good sound system. Subwoofer's great, and then also just the clarity on it as well. I think they've just done a really good job, and I never have issues with that sound system. So it's a good one to have, especially in a luxury car like that. So no complaints there. You guys can see the window controls and everything borrowed from Chrysler, which again, I don't have any gripes with that, because you know, they're functional. It's not, I mean, it's something that you touch quite a bit, but I don't need that switchgear to be special. I worried more about like the bigger piece items, like, you know, the door panel, all that kind of stuff, which I think they did a really good job with everything there. It does come with memory seats, and then you can see more switchgear from Chrysler, like the stop-start button, light controls, and the vents as well. Actually, it's all taken from there, which again saves them money so that they can put it in other places with the car. And you can see the pedal layout here down below. Really nice attention to detail with the metallic trim. And then you got the Maserati logo stamped into everything. It seems like they try to put the Maserati logo in as many places as they possibly can, including the gauge cluster here, which looks really nice. And you guys can see the red line right there. And I like the analog format, but then also the screen in the center. And then you guys can see the steering wheel. Really nice perforated leather, and then you have the contrast between the perforated leather and the smoother leather, and then the metallic trim, and all of it comes together really nicely. Notice with the cruise control right there, it does have the adaptive system and then the steering assist, so it's got some nice safety tech that comes with it, and you kind of expect. If you guys are wondering, the paddle shifters are mounted to the column rather than the steering wheel. They're massive, and so it's another big plus with this car. And then this is the dash, actually. So they continue the yellow stitching with the leather here on the dash. So again, it looks really nice, really high end, and I think again they did a good job from a design standpoint, but then the material use everywhere is just really nice, so it just gives you that feeling that you're in a nice upscale luxury vehicle. And then of course we got the clock. The thing that I think is interesting though is that they did black stitching around the clock, which my guess is that this is just like a plug and play for every single car that has that clock, and so that's probably why it doesn't have the yellow stitching like the rest of the car does. Got the infotainment system, you guys know. Response time on that screen's great. Comes with a backup camera, you know, all the normal stuff you expect. And then you can see the climate controls here, dual zone climate. Again, car at this price point, you're going to expect that. Shifter for the 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, again, if you get the V8 or the V6, you're still going to get the same transmission. That doesn't change. Got the sport mode, the ice mode. And notice with the dampers, it is adjustable. So it's just a sport damper. So you can have it either in comfort mode or you can put it in the sport mode and it'll make things a little bit more aggressive. It'll ride rougher, but then it'll make it so it feels a little bit more planted around corners. And then also on the shifter itself, still has nice leather and stitching on it, and then the carbon fiber all around. And again, cup holders look just as nice as what you have there in the rear. And I think they did a good job with the weave and the carbon fiber, because even the pieces that's like that opening right there, and that's not connected, the weave still goes through all in a line. So I think they did a good job there. Got the center console with the cigarette lighter and the ashtray, of course, even though, you know, it's 2021 and not a lot of people smoke anymore. It's funny that car manufacturers will still put ashtrays in their cars. Like I said in my Quattroporte video, I would not use that as an ashtray. I'd use it as like a Skittle holder because, you know, it's better use. And then here on the door panel again, you guys can see the contrast with the black and then the yellow, and this is the front door panel for the passenger. And then this kind of shows you guys the seat a little bit, and I will have some pictures later so you can see a little bit more on the seat itself. But yeah, you guys can see the design here. Again, you've got the regular stitching goes across, but they do some cross stitching, which from the home ec class that I took in 7th grade, I can remember cross stitching is extremely difficult. So it's impressive what they've done here with the seats on the Ghibli. And then you guys can see the Maserati Trident there at the top. And then again, more yellow stitching that goes around the headrest as well, and then down along the seat itself. And then you've got black stitching here on the back of the seat. And then here popping up to the headliner at the top again, really nice material-wise. Continues onto the sun visors, which is, you know, again, something you'd expect at a car of this price point. Now, it does come with a sunroof. You've got the shade here with the universal garage door openers just right there on the front with all the light controls. On top of that, just has a traditional mirror. Thought it'd have like a camera mirror or something, because again, pretty pricey. But here's a quick look at the sunroof, and if memory serves me right, it's just a regular sunroof. It's not like a full panoramic. Yeah, it's just a regular. It's not a full panoramic unit, which, again, I thought it would be a little bit bigger. But, you know, it is what it is. That's got to be said in every single video. And then here's some shots kind of the steering wheel, and then you guys can kind of see the seat and the dash a little bit closer there with the center stack. And then here's on the passenger seat area. But yeah, that's everything there for the Ghibli, and that's all.